Welcome to the Waywardly podcast, and today we are going to talk about female friendships. Something which is not a topic which is not spoken about much, not glorified, romanticized enough, and that is why we want to touch upon it and have a conversation about it. For that, I have my best friend, my soulmate, whom I affectionately call soulmate. Soleha Shahani is with us, who apart from being my best friend is actually an assistant professor at Center for Bioethics and Culture, SIUT. So, how are you? Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me, Gulu.
How do you feel about yapping on camera together?
I think it's just an extension of how we are as friends, and we yap away behind the doors. So now we're just bringing some of the fun to the camera, I guess.
I hope it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Or a bit of fun. Okay. So, why do you think that it's important to talk about female friendships in today's day and age?
So I think I got to know. Well, I started thinking obviously when you discussed it, and then it reminded me of this article that I had read in Dawn a couple of years ago, and it was a very interesting article as to how they did this exercise of in literature or in TV serials or in dramas, etc. How are female friendships portrayed?
Yeah.
And the idea was that they were working with this assumption that female friendships do not really exist outside of talking about men,
Yeah.
right? And
That's a stereotype, though.
yeah, but is there a conversation? So they did a lot of tests, right? And for a lot of literature and for a lot of TV serials, a lot of them failed to pass that particular test because most of the conversations centered around males. However, I feel that for writers like Virginia Woolf, for example, or say a couple of other Victorian and writers, this was not the case. They were talking about grander things, they were talking about better things, they were talking about the friendships were not characterized by rivalry or jealousy,
Like in Elena Ferrante's books.
yeah, so My Brilliant Friend, right? I mean, the Neapolitan series was like super, right, in its narrative, etc. And both of us, I think, bonded over it.
It was raw and we bonded over it as well.
Yeah, and actually Gulu recommended it to me. So
and recently Dream Count has also come out, and that's also a bit stereotypical because one of the arcs or one of the protagonists actually is always talking about men. So they are really reinforcing the fact that all women do or friends do is talk about men, which is not the case, or they gossip. Gossip, actually, I have something to say about it, is a form of storytelling, and men also do it, but in a different manner.
So what's the different manner, Gulu?
I think they make it very contrite. They make it very precise. They're not as analytical about it because they do not have as much brains. This is not an anti-men podcast, but
yeah, but I think you're right. I mean, in terms of not like men do not have enough brains, but in reality, we are talking about women are storytellers. I mean, I think that's traditionally
More
been the
so.
case, right? I mean, it was women who kind of passed on lessons and morals, etc., to the future generations through
True.
storytelling, right? So that's why this added I think narrative detail about the setting, about the scene. So that's not really gossip. You're really just getting into the details of things, which we do, by the way, as friends
Yeah.
all the time.
We call it our analytical venting out rather than gossip. That's our name for it. But while we are yapping, we do it quite a bit. We are guilty.
Oh, I think we gossip more about like ourselves than about other people, if that makes any
Does
sense.
that make us self-absorbed? But really, our friendship has also evolved over the years. We've studied together, we have partied together, we have done a lot of firsts together. So I remember draping manually a sari with you for the first time.
Yeah, using a YouTube tutorial, and I'm what she calls me zabardasti ki sughar, so I have no idea about these things at all. So like I really had to be precise, and she had to go to a wedding, and we did that.
Yeah, we did that actually, and we've never thought that that would be something. And we also, my first car actually, we drove it, we went to the showroom, signed the papers together, and drove it together for the first time. So my first car was driven with her.
And I mean, I was learning how to drive at that time, right? I used your car like as a practice car all the time, right?
So you know, we have done a lot of activities together, because mostly it's said that men do activities together and girls are mostly, you know, yapping or talking or gossiping together. But there are a lot of activities and a lot of furs that we've also shared with each other.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, when you were there for me when I was like puking my head out when I got like really bad motion sickness, right? And you
She has
cleaned
motion
it.
sickness.
Yeah, and you cleaned my vomit. I mean, no one does that, right? Like friends don't do that. Only I guess parents would do that for their children, but friends don't do
I
that.
didn't feel for one bit that was something different. I felt like, and you know, like how the benefit of, when we talk about benefit of female friendship, you are nurturing. You're like a mother figure as well, if you have mommy issues or otherwise. To your
Yeah, I mean, she's my first kid. I have another kid, but she's my first kid.
yes. So, coming to your kid, how has it changed after marriage, our relationship?
So I think after marriage, I did not see much of a difference because we were still able to like meet together, have sleepovers, and all of that, which we did quite often when we were growing up. We've been friends for over 20 years, and I think I spent half of my teenage life at your house, and vice versa, right? But with my child happening 4 years back, I think a lot has changed in our friendship as well, and I think you would agree with that in terms of the fact that we're not as spontaneous in our plans or in meetings as we would like
It's
to be.
calculated, measured to a certain extent.
Yeah, primarily because I think it's the patriarchy also playing a role in it, right? In the sense that it is the mothers who are expected to take care and to be managers of the child's activities and to take care of the child, to be the primary caregiver, right? So all the buck stops with me essentially,
Yeah.
right? So then my my activities, my outside social activities then have to be very planned properly, and then obviously my friend has to have to make concessions that okay, once I put the kid to sleep, that's when I can come and meet my friends, and she does that, right? And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of friends kind of drift away, like when women become mothers, they kind of drift away. I've seen that a lot with other friends of mine who are single and who do not have children, because they don't really understand that, and they do not make concessions like that. So I really appreciate that.
No, I had to have no other choice because I can't live without you.
Yeah, and
And you know, God has his ways that now she lives 5 minutes away from my place. So it's that's a blessing in disguise.
although that has not stopped us ever from meeting. Even if we live like half an hour away, we would still
We
meet
would still meet.
once a week at least.
So you were talking about patriarchy.
Yeah.
How does patriarchy affects female friendship?
So with patriarchy, I think women are generally constricted into households, right? So once they get married and have children, they kind of are expected to form friendships or relationships within the household domain.
Even before they're
Mm.
married.
Yes, but I think I was coming from like this particular perspective of a certain class, I think, like because we obviously have that class privilege that exists. But yeah, but you're absolutely right, it predates.
Sleepovers were a battle as well initially for us as well, that you know, for men it's much easier, but for us girls to have sleepovers, we had to really have negotiating patterns or with our parents that, you know, okay, we'll be well behaved, we'll be back at this time. Those slumber parties were also actually, I think patriarchy is playing a role in stopping girls from having slumber parties to a large extent, it's, at least in this part of the world.
I also feel that it's got to do with the fact that, like, okay, where my child is going to go sleep over, like where my
Is
daughter
it safe enough?
is it safe enough, right? So I think one of with you don't have a brother, right? So for my parents, it was pretty chill. They were like, okay, go, just sleep over at Gul's, because it's just like a very there are no boys around, right?
Except for my father,
But
who's quite, he's one of the girls.
yeah, right. So I mean, so precisely, right? So patriarchy really does play that particular role where they kind of restrict female friendships. I mean, we couldn't go out at night, we couldn't do all of these little plans. Traveling together was such an issue from my side, right? We couldn't travel together like internationally or nationally, right? Yes, within the
True.
domains of Karachi it was fine, but like, that's how friendships strengthen. You travel together, you live together, and that's how you become closer, I guess.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Because, the real test of friendship is when you travel together, is what, it's a platitude,
Yeah.
really. Uh, Apart from that, what are the benefits, like scientific benefits? Because research also shows that when you're vulnerable and when you talk about your emotions, it releases oxytocin.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
does.
there's a lot of research on that. Yeah.
And that is a happy hormone, and that makes us feel better about ourselves and about each other as well.
Yeah.
So that is a scientifically proven fact that venting out is actually good for you. It makes you happier, and having conversations as well makes you happier.
So I think yes, because emotions and vulnerability are characteristics generally associated with women, because I think men are not like kind of brought up in that sense to talk about feelings, etc. So they're talking about actions more than feelings, right? And I'm not stereotyping, because but that's how men and women are brought up, right? I
It's
mean,
socially engineered.
it's socially engineered. But like there's now a lot of research, as you said, that when you're open with someone, when you're vulnerable with someone, and if you spend like an hour with a friend once a week, that really makes you happy, and that makes you look back onto life in a very different way, and that makes you look forward to life. And I've experienced that, and I'm sure you have experienced that as well.
Same. And also, there's this one slightly emotionally intelligent person in a male group
Yeah.
of friends with whom you share a few emotions. Otherwise, you don't talk about emotions much. I've noticed that. I could be wrong, but that's what my experience has been
And
like.
I think like men like are angry, right? They say, okay, but I talk to men in my life, and I say, that anger is also an emotion, right? So why
Yeah.
is like crying or feeling sad they're not the only emotions? So why have emotions been generally associated with
Yeah.
the feminine as opposed to
Enough about
men?
men.
Okay.
But you know, they, because this is about female friendships and not.
Yeah.
But of course, men play a huge role because we live in a patriarchal setup. So men play a huge role in each and every aspect of life. And that is true. We cannot deny that.
Okay.
But lastly, I want to ask you that how can one have a long lasting relationship? Like, we have been friends for more than 20 years. Uh, what made this happen? Chiefly so.
I think it has to, like, I think both of us can contribute to it, but I'll put in my two things, because I think, like, friendships with like any other relationships, one has to realize that we will hurt each other, and we possibly can't be there for each other all the time. But the idea is that we try, right? And we try to forgive. And I know it sounds very generic and kind of, okay, ye to pata hai, okay, we know about it. But forgiveness, I think, is an important part, and showing grace.
Yeah.
Showing,
And communication is key.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've communicated about our issues, and we've had a few fights over the years where we haven't spoken to each other for a couple of days or some, but we always circle back, because like I can't imagine not having my friend in my life. And I mean, and even though I may not be there all the time,
The stakes are high.
the stakes are high. I mean, she's like, like with the childhood friend, like the kind of friendship that we've had. I mean, I would just want to share this little anecdote. Like, like I was in labor and she was outside and they were not letting her in. Okay, obviously because of stupid hospital rules, right? And but that's how it is. I mean, she is
I
there.
was quite persistent, but they didn't let me in.
Yeah, so she was outside for like 6 hours and just waiting. And it was, by the way, boiling hot. It was May in Karachi, right? And she was there. So
I had to be. I had to be there.
yeah,
It felt like it was the right thing to do.
yeah.
It felt like that.
And like being in each other's lows, right? Like in terms of postpartum depression, when I
Yeah.
had it, you were there.
Yeah. And, because it's therapeutic as well. Of course, everyone should go to counseling
Yeah.
and for counseling and do professional therapists, but your friends are also therapists for each other.
Oh, absolutely. I think the support system that friends provide, especially childhood friends, like, people who've seen
Known you.
who've known you. And, like I walk into Gul's house unannounced. I walk into her house with like, just like that. I've climbed over one of her balconies and gotten into her house because I knew the way to get into the house. And that way, no one was at home. Right? You remember that
The
you were coming
extent.
from the airport and,
Yeah.
I got in because I wanted to surprise her. It was her birthday the next day.
That was really exciting, but also a little creepy, if I may say so.
I couldn't contact
Things you
you, man.
do for friendships. See, things you do for female friendships. Well, now we have to wrap up because I don't want to stop talking, but we
We'll
have to
continue
wrap.
this afterwards. We still have a lot to
Afterwards.
talk about.
Yes, even though we met day before yesterday. So thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
See, best friends also say thank you to each other, and they should as well.
Appreciation is key.
Yeah, we have become Gyani Babas as well by the end of it.
What did your dad call us? Alamas.
छोटी
Yeah,
अल्लामास छोटी अल्लामास ठीक है तो bye bye everyone.
Thanks
It
for
was-
listening to us.
It was really nice.